Hey FishTube, Steven here, and first I just want to say thank you for 600 subscribers. I have so much fun making these videos to entertain all of you, and all I demand in return is your continuous undivided attention. So if you're new to the channel, I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what's going on in my fish room these days, because I can't finish any of my other videos because I'm working on like 4 at once, so I started yet another video and finished this one instead of the ones already in progress.
Logic.
So the current status of the fish room is, it's not a fish room. My tanks are distributed throughout the house, with the dining room being as close to a fish room as it gets. Here are some quick updates on the tanks though. We'll start with my 90 gallon, which by far has the most going on. A couple of months ago, I had a CO2 disaster in here that killed most of the livestock. Just one of those things, either throw in the towel or press on and recover. I chose the latter because this tank just makes me happy. Now it has literally taken on new life, just full of activity. The Juliet cories are being cories and constantly trying to spawn. I pulled an unexpected batch of over 20 eggs a while back, but I need to work on my cory breeding techniques because I only ended up with these 2 past the fry stage. And meanwhile, some random rainbowfish fry wandered into the fry box and have grown a little. Reticulated hillstream loaches are amazing little cleaners, as are the panda gara, especially if you're looking to exfoliate. And of course, there's the rainbowfish, 3 species of pseudomagills and some melanotaenia picta. Oh, and if you aren't familiar with rainbowfish, don't be alarmed by the white on their lips. They're very active and stupid, so they bump into stuff while they spar and spawn all day. No cause for concern, and some extra water changes will help it heal up pretty quick. Until they do it again. All the rainbow fish have some growing to do to reach their full color potential, but you can see how freaking great they look right now. And to borrow a phrase from John of KG Tropicals, if you don't like rainbow fish, you can go Next we have the 16-gallon tank with a gorgeous alien betta I got from keepfishkeeping.com. Kind of battling a slight snail problem right now in here and some blackbeard algae. Sometimes it's tough to gauge how much food I should be putting in here when I've got nearly 2 dozen adorable pygmy and habrosus cories to feed. I'm aiming to grow out this limnophila so it sort of lays over the top and provides a little more shade for the betta. I have a super slow injection of CO2 going in here because I accidentally bought a regulator with low working pressure. I am actually remedying that this weekend.
Problem solved with money.
My living room conversation piece, a 40 breeder, I just can't stop messing with it. Now, I did a tank tour on this one late last year where I talked about the 2 angelfish in here being possible sparring males. It turns out they were pairing up and the female was laying eggs and being overall really unpleasant to the rest of the tank mates. The sparring was harmless for a long time, but eventually it escalated and started really stressing out the rainbows. So she's now back at my local fish store. I recently added a second Fluval 3.0 light to this tank, so it's time to get
super serial
about growing all the hard plants, except dwarf baby tears. Fuck that plant. Seriously. I mean, it was doing so well for so long, and then some fish in here pulled on it slightly, and you know what happens when plants get pulled on slightly? Well, nothing, usually, unless you're a piece of dwarf baby tears. I have no idea what this scape will turn into over the next several months to a year, but I think it's safe to say I'll never leave it alone. Speaking of leaving a tank alone, the 20 talls in my kids' rooms are just existing. I trim the water wisteria and do water changes as needed, but otherwise these are just happy little communities, going on 2 years old at this point. On to the dining room fish room. The Livebearer mosh pit is going strong, but lately producing more than I want of these wild type pattern guppies. They look cool, but with their short tails they're going to end up taking over since they're faster than the other males, so I just gave a bunch of those away, and I'm planning to add new blood to the tank with some upcoming guppy shipments. The platy population is growing at a much slower pace, probably because guppies have a somewhat larger spawn and shorter gestation period and eat most of the food. The yellow tiger endler breeding tank is repopulating after I had quite a run on selling endlers on eBay and GetGills. Looking awesome as ever though. The Marimo moss is actually growing quite a lot, taking over the bonsai tree completely. The floating clump of pearlweed has to get downsized every couple of weeks. The valves are growing very slowly, and I just like the look of this big patch of blackbeard algae, so I've left it alone. The bristlenose pleco grow out is a slow progression, but once I sell these off, I plan to breed some longfin albino bristlenose plecos. I have a video in progress with more details on this breeding project, so look for that in the coming weeks. I put some yellow tiger endlers in here not too long ago that were initially culls from the colony, and they reproduced much faster than I would have anticipated, simply from eating the plecos' food. I want to get these these Plecos grown and sold, so I need to get these endlers out of here. Who would have thunk they'd slow down the Plecos' growth?
Fish eat food.
Here's the quarantine tank, not currently quarantining anything, but instead housing a colony of some pretty blue-tail mutts. A while back I found a mutt guppy in the mosh pit that I liked and separated him with a few females that had similar dark blue tails, and I'm off to a pretty good start. This is also a small plant farm for extra stem trimmings, but I've got to pay more attention to the light and nutrient balance in here so I can stop all the hair algae. And finally, we have the 7-gallon immersed Aquascape I set up for the contest that was hosted by Alex of the Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. Not much to update since the video I posted recently. Everything's still doing well and growing. As of this recording, I don't know the contest results, but it was a fun little project nonetheless. My plan for this one going forward is to just let it develop over the next several months and beyond. That covers the 10 tanks in the fish house so far. I'm angling for an 11th tank, but in the meantime, let me know in the comments which setup you're most interested in learning more about in the near future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.